Ooh, ooh, ooh. There's only one of you, so tell us your story like only you do. We're on the same team of dreamers, a happy, scrappy group of believers. So come, play a part. There's room for mistakes and messes and art. Who cares if there's not many takers? We're doing it for the makers.
You guys, what is up? And welcome to the For the Makers podcast. I am so excited that you are here today because you, gentle listener, are in for just the best. Just the best. I don't really know what else to say other than she is simply the best. You know what I mean?
We have Tina Turner?
Tina is here.
I'm sorry.
Rachel, that's a sad
sorry.
joke.
I didn't mean to.
Rest in peace, girl.
Rest in peace, Tina. We love you, girl. It's okay, Rach. It really is.
We're off to a really good start.
Yeah, we're really killing it today. You guys, we're so happy to be able to bring you this podcast today. I hope, by now you've heard us introduce ourselves multiple times, but I'm just going to do it again. Anyway,
This might be the first episode they've listened to.
That's true, which if it is, welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome. We're happy that you're here. And my name is Lee Beth Etheridge, and I'm one of your hosts. And I am here with the one, the only,
Rachel Gifford.
What's up, girl?
I'm feeling nice and goofy.
Silly, if you will.
Feeling a little silly.
I'm feeling a little silly.
That's my favorite Josh Dunn quote ever.
Yeah, feeling a little
silly.
The end of the day, we're all feeling
of the day.
We're all feeling
Yeah.
silly. And you might be thinking to yourself, I know Rachel and LB's voice.
Who's that third?
Who is that third person saying things? You guys, it is somebody that is extremely, extremely special to Rachel and I, our best friend in the whole world, and somebody that we love with all of our heart. Miss Evan Bertram is here today.
Hello.
Hi.
Evan, how does it feel to be on our podcast?
I feel like I'm finally understand you guys completely. I have just felt like there's a part of your life that I don't know, and now I'm here, and I just feel really honored.
So, gentle listeners, Evan is also a roommate. These three of us, this here group of three. Oh Lord.
Wow.
Help me and help these people listening.
Really.
We're roommates, and it's a grand old time in our apartment. So if you can't tell already, we feel pretty comfy with each other.
Very.
You're really in for a treat.
You're really in for a treat.
Everybody says like, oh, you have your blood family, like the people you're born into, then you have your chosen family. And I would definitely say that these two women are my chosen family for sure. And I'm so excited for you guys, our gentle listeners, to hear what incredible, incredible wisdom Evan always has to offer. But especially on these topics, I think it's going to be really, really cool.
Yeah. So with that, Evie, I'm going to do a little read of your bio.
Please.
Okay. Evan Bertram is a New York-based actor, singer, and dancer. She has traveled around the regional theater circuit for a few years and is about to go on her first national tour.
Yes, she is.
Some of her Take two. Some of her credits include The Secret Garden, $1 Million Quartet, A Christmas Carol, and Bright Star. She is engaged to the love of her life and cannot wait to travel the country performing together. Evan, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, guys. So honored.
We're so glad to have you here. So can we just talk about this real quick? What national tour will you be on by the time this podcast airs, gets released, drops?
I was about to come up with like a show that I'm totally not
in.
Cats. No.
Honestly, I would be here
Okay,
for that.
wait. I'm so sorry. One of our really great friends, she texted Rachel this. Can I say this?
Oh,
She
yeah.
she texted Rachel this, and we just thought it was so funny. She said, I don't need drugs. I have the Jellicle ball.
Who?
Sophie Ackman.
It's true.
It's true.
That's really funny. Actually, there's a girl in the cast of the concert I'm working on who just did the Cats tour, and she was telling me all about it, and I was like, wow, you're a real one. I was like,
You're a real one.
My friends are obsessed with the idea of cats and the Jellicle ball, and you really did that.
Yeah.
I was like, that's incredible.
Really did
But
that.
you're not going to be on the Cats National Tour.
No.
I'm going to be on the tour of My Fair Lady
As what?
as I was gonna think of another joke. As Henry Higgins. No, I'm in the ensemble and covering Miss Eliza Doolittle.
Yeah, you
are.
We're so proud of you.
Thanks, guys.
We really, really are. We're
I'm
so proud.
so excited.
Look at that. Already dropping into character.
Yes.
Wow.
She just dropped in.
And your sweet fiance, Jackson, is going to be on tour with you.
He is.
And he's
the
ensemble.
Freddie cover in ensemble. So we're just gonna be fooling around in the ensemble.
Yeah, you are.
Every day, just being silly heads. So I'm quite excited.
Oh, it's going to be so much
It's gonna
fun.
be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, obviously, we could just sit here and chat nonsense for hours.
We have to be like kind of professional.
Kind of.
Right. Well, we do have a list of questions. So why don't we just start with the first one?
Yeah.
Cool.
Hey, Ev, what got you into the arts?
Well, I'll be. I grew up watching the one and only VHS version of the amazing musical Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Sure.
Filmed on a soundstage
Sure.
with Donny Osmond.
Yes.
The best.
And changed my life for sure. I know Rachel's also obsessed with this and grew up watching it.
I love it.
I think we need a copy in our apartment, and I'm upset that we don't have one.
Because
the only
we don't.
we don't have anything to play it on.
we have a DVD
We
player.
have a DVD player.
Okay, well, let's get on that. I didn't even know that. We don't watch DVDs.
We really don't. Yeah. It's a Blu-ray.
We do have all of Rachel's home videos on DVD.
Oh, that's true.
in our home.
If we ever wanted to pop one of those on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't we watch those more often?
Let's plan a day to do
Sorry, listener, we gotta go. Just kidding.
we got to go watch Rachel's home videos.
Yes. Anyway, I digress. Yeah, so I grew up watching that. My parents just found it and they were like, "Oh, a biblical musical. Let's show our kids this." Even though for like a 3-year-old, there were some little suggestive moments with
Yeah, it was a little
Miss
scandy
Miss
sometimes.
Potiphar's wife.
Yeah.
For a 3-year-old.
For a 3-year-old, yeah, I was like fully like learning all the lyrics. Anyways, yeah, so I grew up watching that, and I think that's where it kind of, I just like subconsciously started, like I was obsessed with it, and I would watch it all the time. And I had asthma really bad as a kid, and I had to do a nebulizer like pretty frequently, and I like wouldn't sit still like at like 3 or 4, so my parents would put on Joseph. And I would just sit there with my nebulizer and watch Joseph. And
Oh my gosh.
it was real fun. Yeah. So that kind of instilled it. My dad, and my parents are also, they're just like goofballs, and they would like sing and dance around, and they don't do that professionally. But yeah, so we're just kind of a sing-songy family. That and Sound of Music kind of like instilled my love for music. And then I saw Wicked when I was in high school.
Yes.
Of course. And I saw it on tour in Charlotte, and it when she flies in the air, I just started weeping, and it's what everyone says, and it's whatever, but it's true. It does something to you. Mm-hmm. So that's when I kind of like, I started theater in 7th grade with good old Bye Bye Birdie. And then starred in the middle school production of Seussical as Maisie LeBurd.
Yes, she did.
It was very fun.
Yeah.
Starred with my best friend Emma.
Oh my gosh. Emma, shout out.
Hey, Em. A fellow podcaster. So we, and then I saw my first like real big professional Broadway level show was Wicked on tour. And that's when I was like, wait, I kind of think I want to like do that. Like I want to do that. I'm not just doing it for fun. So then I started taking voice lessons, and I was in theater class obviously in high school, and I started doing community theater. And there were some intense theater kids in Charlotte, North Carolina. Let me tell you what. They were like, so are you going to Unifieds? Are you going? Like they were talking about all the auditions, and I was like, what's the?
You were like, what?
I was like, I don't know anything. And so I did a couple shows with like this really cool group of theater kids who were in my grade, and we're all when we were seniors getting ready to audition for all these schools. And I was like, hadn't even really conceptualized doing that.
Yeah.
Or like majoring in it in college. And then the Lord really kind of like lightning struck my parents' hearts.
Yeah.
And they were like, he was like, let her do this. And so they decided to let me audition. And so I auditioned at like 3 places. And ended
3
up at,
places?
yeah.
That's it?
That's what I did too.
3 or 4. Yeah. I wish you all could see, there's a fruit fly hovering around LB's mic, and she's really getting perturbed.
I'm sorry. It's just getting like in my face.
I love it.
That's crazy. Both y'all only did 3. I did 20.
Did you go to Unifieds?
I did Unifieds, and then I did, there was one for Texas schools.
Oh.
Don't remember what it was called. And then I traveled to
Unifieds.
Evan,
that was a good one.
Thanks.
And then there was a couple schools that I went actually to the school and auditioned.
Sure.
OU, I auditioned at OU. I auditioned at Liberty University. I auditioned at a couple other places. But yeah, 20 years. So when
I
I
had no idea what Unifieds were until I went to college.
Yeah. I was like,
that.
this feels extreme. I was like, I
It's
know
a lot.
what
It's
the
a lot.
schools I like. And I was way more focused on going to a big university with a football team. That was like way more important to me than actually like, I wasn't aware of like the hierarchy of theater school.
right. Which is a blessing. to
Which
some
is
degree.
great. Yeah, which I'm really grateful for. But yeah, so I went to James Madison University, and it was the freaking best. I loved it.
Yeah.
I really did. And it was just like the perfect combo of like mountain town, football team, big school, just like gorgeous sunsets, amazing community, and really a really great program and a beautiful new theater space. So yeah, it was great.
And then,
Go ahead. Nope.
No.
I have nothing worthwhile of saying. I just said
We're
it.
like broken records when that happens.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you move to New York right out of college?
Which I'm really grateful for, having seen friends do both. I graduated early, accidentally, because I just was done with credit. I was such like an overachiever in college, like not really necessarily in actually the grades I was making, but in how much I was doing.
Yeah.
And so I was taking like 9 to 11. Wait, that's not normal. Wait,
I don't even remember.
no, 19 to 21 credits a semester.
Wow, Evan.
Which is like 7 to 8 classes,
Yeah.
which people normally do like 4 classes.
Yeah.
But for theater school, it's like you're in dance
Yeah.
and voice lessons. There's not like homework.
Right.
So you could kind of pack it in. But yeah, I was so scared I wasn't going to get it all in because JMU's a BA program. So we had that basically, they like to tout and just be like, well, we're more well-rounded. It just means you have a ton more classes to take. It's just a BFA plus a ton more gen eds.
Yeah.
Which is great. But we were just very busy. So I was scared I wasn't going to get it done. And so then I got to first semester of senior year, and I talked to my advisor, and she was like, so that's it. You don't have any more credits to
And you
take.
were like,
She was like,
okay.
you can take some random classes, or like, I didn't do heightened language. I opted out of that because I would have had to stay an extra semester for one class, and it was optional. So I never did heightened language. But
Heightened language.
like Shakespeare and
Oh,
that jazz.
Sure.
heightened.
Wow.
Yeah, I
To
never.
be or not to be.
That's the very one, Rach.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I kind of felt like a little insecure about that
Yeah.
because I was like, am I a real actor if I didn't take Shakespeare? I like learned about Shakespeare. I had to recite some Shakespeare to get into the fraternity, the theater fraternity.
You like moved
Which
to
I
New
was
York and you're
president
feeling
of.
like guilty, like I never took heightened language.
Yeah, exactly. I think, I had a friend who forgot to. She actually didn't. She thought she graduated, and then there was like a jet. Jamie reached out and was like, "You actually have one more jet."
Oh my gosh, no.
Yeah,
That's terrible.
she just did it online. It was fine, but
Wow.
I was so scared of that. So I got it all done. So anyways, all that to say, I did move to New York very early while my class was still finishing up senior year. I moved to New York in January 2019. Oh, I got the fly now. Oh. It's on my microphone.
You got it. It's gone now.
Man, that sounds ferocious.
Yeah. What? The fly?
The fly.
Oh yeah.
You are.
I was like moving to New York. Yeah.
You're like, yeah, who? Me?
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
What? So yeah, I moved to the city. I met these two. When did we? They remember when we met. I don't remember when we met. Or LB remembers.
I don't know. I just remember going to Five Napkin with you. That's really like my first.
We should talk about
memory
that.
with you.
That was so good.
That was a great time.
Anyways, yeah. So I met.
I think we met through the hang though.
we met through the hang.
Yeah, I remember distinctly that I went to lunch in the park with Evan and at that time her roommate Blair. Mm-hmm. And Evan and I just like immediately connected and started talking about life and about the industry and about all this other kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And I kind of feel bad. Sorry, Blair. We kind of like
You're like, anyway.
yeah. She just kind of like sat there and watched us like be like, oh my
Yeah.
God.
Well, it's because we are external processor extroverts,
Correct.
and she is not that.
Correct.
Love you,
correct.
girl.
Correct. And so that's when we met and like really connected.
Mm-hmm.
But then, Rach, when did you meet Evan and connect with her? Or have your first
I
time?
just always existed in my world, Rach.
Yeah.
But
I don't know a time without Evan Bertram.
yeah.
Yes,
But
you do.
Five Napkin is what happened at Five Napkin.
Do you know about this?
Yeah, I do. But the listeners do not.
This doesn't really have to do with like art, but it has to do with community.
Yeah, heck yeah.
And that's on community.
And that's,
Well, I went through a really hard breakup fall of 2019. And Rachel, I knew Rachel as LB's best friend, and LB was becoming my best friend.
Yeah.
And so then Rachel was becoming my friend too, but we hadn't connected like deeply like LB and I had. So I was like, I just want to know Rachel. I was just weaseling my way in, you know. And here we are, and it worked.
and it worked. You did it.
No, and so this just speaks to Rachel's character.
Yeah.
We didn't know each other very well. We just kind of knew each other from Bible study at the hang. And and so she found out from LB. I think I texted LB and LB told her, or you guys were together or something. But it was like the day after, I think, that we broke up, and it was just like it was a long up and down relationship, and it was just a really, like the hardest thing I've ever gone through. Mm-hmm. And I was just having a really rough time, and Rachel just texted me this beautiful voice memo prayer, and then asked if I wanted to like get dinner with her that night. And I said yes, and we went to Five Napkin Burger next to my old workplace, Schmackery's.
Schmacktown, USA.
Schmacktown, USA.
Oh gosh.
And she just listened to me. I think I probably sobbed, and it was just like this really beautiful time. And she just barely knew me, but like made time in her day to sit with someone who was grieving. And that was when we connected for sure. Yeah. And I was like, and now you're my sister for life. You cannot leave me ever, because you know all my tea. Now it's on your forehead, Rach. Oh, it flew away. Okay.
Wow, I didn't feel
It's bouncing between us.
Slide on its feet.
We're talking about the fly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The memories on my forehead.
The memory.
Yeah. Oh man, now I felt it. Okay. Yeah, we bonded over burgers.
We bonded over burgers.
It was a good time. I'm pretty sure you had a discount too because of
Schmackery's sister restaurant.
We love it. We love it.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
we love
that was great.
Evan.
We
so
do.
much.
And we're just glad that you're here, and how, like you said before we started, you were like, oh, my story is not really interesting. Like how I got into the arts isn't really interesting.
Forget that.
And I think there's something to be said about not the world being not fantastic. Like it's just like just like anything else, any other career, some people see doing it. Like I know some people that I grew up with or I went to school with who, like one of my friends I grew up with, she saw somebody, she had a teacher that really impacted her life. And then she was like, okay, I want to be an elementary school teacher. And that's what she did. And it's not like she had this moment where she was like, and it was the only thing that I had to do. Like it was like, it wasn't this like fantastical thing. It was just like she had somebody or something impacted her. And then she was like, I want to do that.
Right.
And I think that if you look at your story, you know, it's not this like fantastical thing. And I think that's good. I don't think that's bad.
Well, that's the majority of the humans.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
Most people, that's their story. You know, it's like, okay, well,
I went to school and then I got out and now I'm here.
yeah, exactly.
And there's so many things in between.
Right. Exactly.
But yeah.
So I think your story is amazing.
Thank you so much for validating that.
You're welcome.
You're
welcome.
I just really,
Yeah.
No, you know, it's cool. And I just have so seen the fingerprints of the Lord, like get me in every job I've had and like the people I've met and the people here and my fiance and just like, it's all purposeful.
Yeah.
And that makes it fantastical, I guess.
Yeah, it does. Totally does. Totally does.
That's the quote for this podcast.
There
guys.
it is. There it is.
It's all fantastical.
It's all fantastic.
and that makes it, wait, I forget it now.
It's okay.
Play
We
it
can go
back.
back. We
Play
can
it back.
We can play it back. Okay, well, let's move on to question 2.
Yeah.
Which is, Evan, why do you think the arts are important?
Well,
Just like a one-word answer would be great.
empathy.
Oh,
She gave it to you.
I wrote down empathy and shared laughter and sorrow.
yeah.
I'm copying my website. This is what it says on my website.
I love
It's
that.
like, Evan is in the arts to, what does it say? Or Evan believes in the power of the arts to teach empathy, bring people together through shared laughter and tears, and heal hearts or something. yeah. But that's what I believe. I sat with that. I remember in 2019 when I was making my little like bio on my website in senior seminar, and they were like, talk about your heart and like
your
why
artist statement.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Your artist or like your elevator pitch.
Yeah.
No one needs an elevator pitch in this business, whatever. Actually, they probably do, but not me. So
I feel like it'd be weird for actors. Yeah.
I sat there and just was like, God, tell me what to say. And so those like 3 things came to mind. And that's truly, I guess if I were to sum it up, that's kind of why I think they're important. Because at first I was like, I just think it's fun.
Yeah.
But it's more than that. And it's become more than that. And I think, especially over COVID and even through college, just like watching fellow actors and myself in class, like have to do scene studies on characters that they're totally different than. And then watching audiences watch shows and respond to characters or situations in shows that they don't understand, or maybe they really do get it.
Yeah.
Kind of on either end of that spectrum. Like, there's just something beautiful about storytelling that it makes you feel, it can make you feel very seen, and that can be super healing and like enlightening. And it can also point out maybe a thought process or just type of person that you might not have understood previously or been able to empathize with. Just like stories and theater kind of like really gets into the heart of characters. And there have just been so many times where I've seen a show where I'm like, oh, wow, I need to go talk to this person because I like realized something about this through this show about a character who's really like them. Yeah. And I now like, I kind of get where they're coming from and I need to apologize for something, or like I need to check in on them or like, like I need to celebrate this person. Like, wow. So yeah, I think the empathy thing's huge. I also think that there's just something really special about getting to go sit. I mean, I think this about movies and any type of art, just going to sit and watch and chonk out like a 2.5, 3, 7 hour period to go sit and enjoy art that you don't have to do anything and you're just receiving it, because we just live in such a hurried world. And I think there's, it's just a forced tap of the brakes even for a little bit, just to sit and receive something that someone has poured so much into.
Right.
Yeah. It's like giving like being an actor or a writer. It's like being able to give a gift a zillion times over without, like, you just make it and then it's just the gift that keeps on giving. It never goes away.
Right.
And I think that's really kind of magical.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was like such a satisfying answer. I don't know.
Thanks. I prayed that the Holy Spirit would speak through me today.
There you go. Then there you go.
Because I'm Evan's tired today. So I think I'm glad.
I get that.
And he do be present in this room.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways, I hope that made sense.
No,
It totally
did. I'm like, did you always, well, because you talked about how at first you're like, because it's fun. And then you're like, wait, no, it's so much more than that. Is that something, here's a question.
Yeah.
Like My Fair Lady.
Yeah.
Or like, are you somebody who thinks, or well, like Bright Star, what else is on your resume?
Shout the Mod musical.
Yeah. Okay. So like some of these things where you're like, there isn't like a ton of like depth to it, but it is fun. I don't know. Are you somebody who will think deeply about those, or are you just like, no, this is like so joyful, I'm doing what I love to do?
Yeah, it's that too.
Yeah.
I mean, when I think if the question was like, why do you think the arts are important for Evan?
Yeah.
It would be more so of like, I just feel like one of the questions was what grounds you. I feel grounded when I'm doing that because I think that that's what I was made to do. So I think there's like that.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, there's a zillion reasons why it's important for Evan, but I think that like, yeah, I think it's both. I mean, I think I've always also felt pressure to think deeper than I naturally do because creatives are so deep and like so thoughtful. And I'm just going to get vulny.
Do it.
Yeah.
That's short for vulnerable.
Do it.
Evan is Gen Z.
Barely. There's a lot of Gen Zs. My fiance is fully Gen Z. That's
gosh.
the problem.
That's the problem.
That's where Volney came from.
Oh, Rachel just dropped the lid to her cup. Sorry, girl. And she's not going to get it back.
No, I'm not.
She's going to hold it open like that now. Anyways, yeah. No, I was born in 97, so I'm the eldest C.
Yeah.
Barely.
An elder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
An elder C.
Elder C.
A zillennial, if you will.
Yes.
So yeah. Oh, I was getting vulnerable.
Right.
So, no, this is something that, this also plays into question 4. What has shaped you the most creatively?
Yeah.
So during our good sweet COVID, I was on a beach trip with my best girl, Emma, who I mentioned earlier. And, we were like, I forget what even we were talking about. It was something about creativity. And we finally just got down to brass tacks. And she was like, Evan, do you just not think you're creative? Like, do you not think you're smart? Do you not think you have ideas? Because I kind of was like, well, I'm just like a pawn on a stage. Like I just do. Like I feel like there wasn't anything coming out of me other than like embodying characters, which is a cool thing.
Yeah.
But I was like, I feel like I am. Me as an artist is just like she sings, she kind of dances, and like she can act, and like that's just what she does. And I hadn't really had anyone apart from like acting teachers teaching me how to act authentically. Like I hadn't really had anyone talk about that with me, like how to. It's just been like very like musical theater,
Right.
And so I think over COVID when I started writing songs out of my heartbreak. I just didn't know how to process, and that's kind of how I did it. And I started writing a play about said heartbreak as well. And I haven't written in a long time, and I think it really might have just been a coping thing. But to realize like, oh, I have art kind of in me that hasn't even been created yet.
Yeah.
was like a huge thing and really kind of empowering for like my self-talk and like the way that I view Evan, because I definitely struggle with like putting myself down a lot and making myself just like telling myself not necessarily that I'm not capable of like a thing. Like I'm very bold and like trying to sing fun new stuff, but like when it comes to like being creative, I'm like, that's just not your lane, girl.
Right.
So I think COVID and that conversation with Emma really kind of sparked like seeing myself as a performer and an artist in a new way, that I could actually like make something.
Yeah.
And then that helped me then like songwriting and kind of realizing like I was capable of creating something helped in my acting too. I think I was like, oh, I can bring this sense of like making something into playing roles and like characters. And like with My Fair Lady, I'm working on a concert version of My Fair Lady right now and playing Eliza. And so I think I'm tempted to fall back into like, I'm just gonna sing it well and like get away with doing what I know people will like clap for.
Sure.
Versus being like, who is this woman and like what does she want, and like really doing the work to like sit and think.
Right. Totally.
and find myself in her too. So I don't even remember what specifically the question was.
Well, just like thinking deeply about kind of like what would like, you know, with the different varying styles of shows and things like that. But I love that you had that realization, because I think that actors can sometimes feel like pawns on a stage, but the reality is that if you're not present as you, like how are you supposed to be present as a character? And like the thing that makes like Evan Bertram playing Eliza Doolittle.
Eliza Doodle.
Eliza Doodle. That's like her nickname.
Good.
Thank
Doodle
you.
girl.
What makes you playing her special is that you are playing her. Like it's not, and that's why I think we love seeing the same things over and over again with different actors, because you get to see like you're going to bring out very different things in Eliza than Sally
Struthers.
Yeah. There we go.
Sally Struthers.
Wait, what?
Do you know Sally Struthers?
No.
She's like a queen. She's I hope she's not listening. She's just an older actress. She's been on Broadway a bunch.
Oh my
She's just really funny. She plays like Miss Hannigan all the time.
Oh my gosh,
A queen,
Sally,
a
love
queen.
you. But yeah, like you're gonna bring out different things, and I think that is what is beautiful.
Yeah.
About art.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and Ev, I think when you were like vulnerability hour in saying like, I struggle with finding myself to be creative. I feel like lots of people struggle with that. I think that there is, especially people who went to musical theater school and
cookie cutter moment.
and like, and this is the thing, they know how to produce good work.
Yeah.
It's not like you're going in and doing bad work.
And it feels almost like untruthful. Like, I'm also a person who, I'm reading myself for filth. I don't like to work hard, okay?
Yeah.
And I like ease.
Yeah.
And so that's what was challenging to me. I like to do a lot and show up for people and be a lot of things. But when it comes to like really digging, I really have to push myself to do that. I think I'm more of a breadth person than a depth person.
Totally.
And that is something that I'm insecure about for sure. And so I think in order to like honor that's who I am, and also like push myself to go deeper, like theater has been really helpful in being like, well, are you gonna like do this character justice? Like, are you going to do the story justice? Are you going to actually do your best in telling a story that God created.
Right.
You know, and I think that kind of like asking myself that question every time I start a project has helped me. It's like the work, it ends up being fun. I dread, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be so much work. I have to do so much book work and like sit and like think for a long time. I'm like, oh, but instead of being like, I could just go out and sing pretty. Right. Because when, you know, we have instruments.
Right.
And I actually think this is something that Broadway struggles with right now.
Yeah.
Is throwing instruments as in like amazing voices on stage and just lacking depth. And I think there are, not to say there's so many beautiful deep shows right now on the Broadway and amazing actors and some amazing performances, but it's just, I think it's been a common theme that it becomes easy, and I don't think it should ever be easy.
Right.
You know, I think we should have to like
work hard.
Or else we get bored, or we get like lackadaisical, or we don't care about it as much. Like you care about it, and there's more joy found when you really are like working on it.
Right.
And that's what can end up feeling a little bit like schmoozy, sleazy sometimes about like Broadway is like it can feel a little bit like I don't know, like the money grab of it.
Yeah.
Like if it's like, we're just throwing something big and flashy. And it's like, okay, but wait a second. I think what's really exciting is when that gets paired with it. And it doesn't necessarily have to be like depth.
No.
But it can be something really like, inventive or like something super clever, like Shucked, for example. Like, you know what I mean? Like the way that it's so clever.
It's creative.
Yeah.
Because like Shucked is a hilarious show.
Of course.
Of just full of joy and absolute mayhem. But it is so creative and like how it functions and how the show works and the rules that are laid down within the world of the show. Like the fact that each character's name has to do with corn.
Hilarious.
Oh my, like so.
Let's go see it.
So creative.
Right now.
Wait,
I know.
Have you seen it, LB?
No, but I have.
I was like, wait,
I saw it.
No, but I had. You did see it, but
It's so good.
I've done a lot of like looking into the show and how the show functions and what makes the show super attractive to people. And I think what makes it attractive to people is that it is out of this world creative, like and clever, and you see the intentionality, you see the honesty of both the creative team and the people doing the show. Same thing with like Something Rotten or Spamalot. Like these are not like think deeply shows, but they do have depth within the show as a whole. And like how creative they are and how the ensemble and the people doing the show, they are so bought into this craziness that it allows for honesty. And that is attractive to people. And I think that, to your point, Ev, I think that doing the hard work, going deeper, doing the things that are tough, especially within a character, in character work, opens up for honesty. Because if you get down to the depths of that person, who they are as really as a person, it opens you up to be able to live honestly on stage and not have to feel like you have to put something on or be something that the audience expects you to be. Which in the end leads back to what your original answer was, which is it draws out empathy because the people see how honest you are in portraying that one character and they are able to empathize.
Right.
And therefore empathize with the people around them.
Other people in their lives. Yeah. And I think like it can be, I'm not saying either like I don't want to poo like Mean Girls and like even Shout the Mod musical. What is it? I don't know. I do know, but people don't know about that. Right. But it can be like, it can be like that show was literally written to make people smile. That's it. To remind them of the 60s. Like that's why it was written.
Right.
But as an actor, I'm like, okay, well, let me actually think about. Instead, I think it just has to come from a place of honesty. It's exactly right. It's like, instead of thinking about like, what do I think the audience will laugh at, or like, what do I think that people will find impressive? It's like, well, even if this character is like, her name was Blue Girl. She didn't even have a name, but like, I'm like, okay, Blue Girl, clearly from Britain, is struggling with blah blah blah. These are the songs she sings. What can I gather?
Right.
And it's like, even just and making stuff up that's not even there. It's like, as long as you can just be honest and have fun in your honesty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's just the sauce.
Yeah.
Totally.
I have a question about something that you said before, because we're going to move on to question 3,
Please.
Which is what keeps you grounded as a human. And you said that you feel you're most grounded when you're on stage.
I do.
Can you talk about that? Because that is like a foreign concept to me.
Yeah. I mean, I've just found since living in New York, like in theater school, there were a lot of hard parts of theater school. But when I was singing specifically, like when I'm singing on a stage, acting, I get insecure about, but I work hard, to enjoy it. But, and to tell the truth, like we were talking about, but yeah, I think singing on a stage feels like home to me, honestly, more than anything else in the world. Like it just, and I don't know if it's because it's nostalgic now, and like, I kind of felt that way from the beginning. Like it just never felt like something I had to like shove myself into, or like, I never have to like talk myself through before I get on stage. Like it's not even a nerves thing. It's just like, I just can't wait.
Wow.
Like it just makes me so excited. And I don't even know if it's any deeper than that. Other than the fact that I think God just put a love of it in me, and kind of like has used it to teach me a lot and just make me feel held. Yeah. Like I love to sing. I just love to sing.
So do you get you don't get nervous?
Yeah, I mean, I do. Like I'll get like a little tummy gurgles like before a show. Like I'll get nervous before the concert. Like that will happen. But when I'm on stage, I'm nervous if I'm not prepared. That's when I get nervous.
Yeah, got it.
Like in acting class, if I'd like run the scene like twice with my scene partner, and then we go to class and I'm like, I hope I remember the words. Right. Like that's nerve-wracking. Like for this concert, it's a quick rehearsal process and a lot of words in all the songs. So like I will be nervous about that, because I will be actively not just thinking about the character, but also thinking about the lyrics. Yeah. Right. Yep. Yeah. But like when we get into the tour, like I won't be nervous because we will have rehearsed for a month. I'll know it all. And it's just like when it's in me, I don't get nervous before I go. It's like, it's not that being on a stage makes me nervous. I don't get nervous being on a stage. I actually get nervous when I'm not on a stage talking in front of people. That's when I get nervous. Yeah. It's something about the lights, and when I can see the people, I'm like,
That's
the isolation.
That's a real thing. Yeah, I get that.
It's like the simultaneous, like when you're on stage, the lights are on you, you can't see the house, and you're with your fellow actors. It's like both an isolation, but you're aware that you're also with hundreds, maybe thousands of people. And that's also simultaneously cool and comforting, but you can't see them. Yeah. But it's like, how cool that there's like lights on us. Yeah. So we don't have to like actively think about it, but we also know they're there. Totally. It's so freeing.
It is. Yeah.
I love it. Gets me so hype.
I don't know. The first thing that popped into my head when you were like, I get more nervous speaking in front of people when I'm not performing, because I like was on these like Zoom meetings the other day, and I was like sweating through all of them. And I was like, there's like 6-7 people max in these meetings. And every time I had to talk, it was like, you would just not even guess that I was an actor.
Moving on.
Well, I do think that to both of y'all's points, I think that there is safe protection in playing a character.
Oh yeah.
Because if you ask me to go up on stage and like speak as myself.
Right.
No.
Yeah. It's you're being secretly vulnerable.
Right.
Because you're letting out all your emotions, but not in the same context.
Right.
Like in a different context.
It allows for you to feel free.
Yeah.
Because it's not you who is being put in the vulnerable situation.
Yeah.
It's the character.
Yet it's so cathartic for us.
Right. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
But that I love the what you're talking about, Evan, when like the lights are on you and you know that there are people out there.
Yeah.
But you're able to live as honestly as possible in this pretend world that's exist on a very clear, sometimes square, sometimes thrust, sometimes round vicinity. And that's only where the world exists. And yet it feels so real within the moment. And I love that because the audience for a split second gets sucked into that world.
Right.
And so all of them are witnessing all of this in real time. Yeah. And that's when you get people going,
yeah.
Or like,
and we know that too.
Right.
From being in houses and watching shows. Yeah.
And it makes me sometimes, like, I've been in shows before. I was in a show in college and it was really dark and like heavy. And I said this one line and I remember so clear. It was in the thrust. And so everybody was like right up in our business. And I remember saying the line and then I heard this woman in the audience be like, oh my gosh. And I wanted to turn to her and be like, right?
Yeah,
Am I right?
Because it's like you're detached from the character too. Like it's not your writing. Well, sometimes it is people's writing, but in this case, it wasn't your writing.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you are like it's like, this is what it is. It's like you're an audience member too.
Right.
Because the material's also impacting you.
Right.
It's not all coming from you.
Right.
It's like you and the material.
Right.
So you're simultaneously an audience member with them.
Right.
And like the person like giving the material. So it's like this double world of like
it's crazy.
Being both in the audience and
A
the one giving the gift.
Yeah.
It's so cool. Ooh, drop my water bottle.
It's so cool. Well, and I love that you said, Evan, that being on stage and having those moments grounds you and keeps you grounded.
I have a question about that.
Yeah, please.
So like, let's say, Evan, you have like a bad day
Yeah.
and then you go and you're like, but I also have to like film a self-tape. Is like filming that self-tape and like singing, is that grounding for you after a bad day? Wow.
If it's just acting, no.
Got it. Yeah.
I'm like, oh, Rachel,
But
will you read this
singing,
with me?
Yeah.
But if
We've had our fair share of
we've had
hilarious sides that we've had to read.
We have had to read some crazy sides that we shouldn't go into on this podcast.
No.
They're insane.
Yeah.
Inappropriate. Anyways.
Inappropriate.
If it's singing.
So it's like it's singing, like the act of singing is grounding to you. I'm pretty sure there's
I'm sure there's a lot of
psychology to back that up. Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking I'm probably going to go to grad school for psychology here in the next year. So I'll let you know.
Yes.
We'll see. I really think there is. I think there's psychology in it. I also think that it's a gift from God.
Totally.
I think not like to me, but to the human race that like music. I mean, there's literally not another thing that exists that is like music. Like it's its own beautiful thing, and it always makes people smile and feel stuff. And it's just like it's truly unique and magical in that way. And like acting's amazing too and can do so much, but there's something about music.
Yep.
Like you can listen. I mean, everyone has like a song or two that they hear the first chord and they can just cry.
Yeah.
And I have a couple of those, and I think that being able, even if I'm just singing, like I can't think of anything, but like even if I love to sing legit soprano, but I've had plenty of self-tapes where I was belting my face off in the apartment as the girls, I know what you're thinking of.
Tahu
boys, welcome. Shout out to the Grinch National Tour.
Evan, can I just tell this story really quickly?
Yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say on that anyways. So.
Yeah.
Even that brings me joy.
Even
though it
didn't in this
all
moment
pain.
because so I was sitting, I work from home for my muggle job.
Yes, she does.
And I was working, and then LB was you were in your room, right?
You're in like the living room.
Yeah, I was in the living room.
Yeah, and Evan,
I don't know what I was doing, but I was there.
yeah, Evan
They
was
were
like,
because they were distracted.
Yeah.
Evan was trying to get the self-tape in for the Grinch national tour, and she had to sing this song.
Fahu Dore.
Yeah, and she kept messing up the lyrics.
And I cursed. I did.
Because what are they saying? So she would be like, Dahu Dore, Dahu Dore. Ah, shit.
I think I dropped the F-bomb a couple times. I literally was like I was just like
Raging in her room.
because they wanted like a freaking mixed belt
Yeah, it was craziness.
soprano also. Like in
Yeah,
the high
it wasn't the
heavens.
lyrics. It was that you kept.
I was like, Christmas night. And it was just like, Mama Who was not my journey.
Oh my gosh! But it truly lasted like half an hour, maybe a
No,
little.
like 2 hours.
It was
Rachel.
okay. Yeah,
It's
I wasn't
okay.
gonna throw you too far under the bus, but yeah, it was a long.
She said,
time.
it's okay.
It's been a while since we've had one of those moments in our household.
yeah.
Yeah.
Those like where like the other two are sitting in the living room holding hands, like clenching teeth, being like, oh no, I hope they're okay.
I did work one time, and you were singing. You were auditioning for Young Frankenstein, I think.
Oh no, yeah. Roll in it.
Yes, I
Diddly
definitely
diddly.
have. Yeah,
It was theater.
I have a video of me just like sitting and working, and in the background you can just very faintly hear you yodeling, and I'm like, "This is my life."
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I love it. I relish in that.
Okay. Should we move on
Yeah,
to
we
question
gotta.
4?
I'm so sorry. Yeah,
No, I
could talk
don't
about
apologize.
those moments in our apartment all the time because
I was about
also
to say,
we
all of us have them.
a fourth roommate who just works for ESPN. Hilarious.
Poor guy.
Our apartment is crazy town.
And
The
he doesn't
best.
really care. Like
No, he loves it.
he
He
never
eats
once.
it up.
He's like, please,
Okay.
please say.
Quick,
I'm like, you're on a meeting
literally
with other corporate
sports
big people.
humans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, no,
And he doesn't
sing.
care.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They probably think it's cool. They probably think we're cool. I bet.
yeah.
Yeah. Not
He's
when
like,
we're
yeah, I work with a bunch of
screaming.
people who are like on Broadway.
Yeah, that's what he says.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we're like, that's hilarious.
We're like, Dahu do.
Yeah,
Broadway.
There was one time where we all submitted for the national tour of Mean Girls, and when I tell you, it was a good 4 hours
Oh, and we were
of just screaming.
we were at the end of our ropes.
Yeah, and Jeremy was like, "What are you guys auditioning for?" He's like, "That's so awesome!
You guys sound so
And all of us are just mad.
Yeah.
We're just like angry because
We're
we've
like,
been screaming for the past 4 hours. Ooh, I love it. Okay, we gotta keep going. We gotta keep
I
going.
know.
Ev, what person, place, or experience has shaped you the most creatively?
COVID-19.
Talk about that.
Because of that conversation with Emma.
Well, that was like one teeny facet of it. Yeah, I think, well, that's when I just discovered like writing. Well, no, I wrote in college a little bit, like poetry, and I journaled all the way through school. I started freshman year and journaled like everything that I went through, almost every day. And and I didn't have to make myself. Now I have to really sit down and make myself, which I don't do. I do it like twice a week, literally. I mean, twice or once every 2 weeks. That's what I
Right.
mean.
Yeah.
Like literally not all the time. And I beat myself up for that because it was so good for me in college. So yeah, I wrote a ton, which helped me process things. And then I just continued that into COVID because it had only been like a year since I graduated.
Yeah.
And I was still going through really hard things. And so writing, COVID allowed me time and space to think and process because sometimes it just takes me a sec to like, or I don't even have time like in my busyness to like think through stuff and like sit and process and just like have space to think thoughts I've never thought before, like truly. And about life and people and how do I actually feel about this? And and so I kind of like wrote and journaled through my grieving over COVID, and I started reading the Bible again, like in a way of like really trying to figure out what it is actually saying, and so like in both a faith way, a writing way, and just like a slow down way. I mean, that was when all these thoughts about like going deep into my art and what can I make, and wanting to approach like your standard musical at a regional theater like more heavily, and like I'm like, this is my job. This is what I was made to do. This is where God has me. So like I don't just want to like skeet by, like I want to actually invest in myself and my career. So I think that time, as awful as it was for the world, was huge for me as a creative. Yeah. And it gave me a lot of time with my people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was like another thing I wrote down as something that really grounds me.
Yeah.
Like you guys. But yeah, like I had so many great conversations. I kind of honestly like, I'm glad COVID's, knock on wood, like pretty gone. Well, she's spiking right now, but she's normal now, you know?
Yeah.
But I kind of mourn the ability and the freedom to be able to just sit and talk with anybody for hours.
Yeah.
Because we don't have that now.
Yeah.
We're back to the rush. And those conversations we get to, whether it be about my sorrow in the breakup, or my or writing, or like playing a song for someone, or just sitting on the piano and like futzing around for literally 5 hours because I didn't have anything else to do, reading books, like catching up with friends from college who I would never called before, like stuff like that. It's just, it all kind of like faded away slowly when everything kind of went back to normal, because we have to, work again.
Yeah.
Work and pound the pavement.
Yeah.
Especially here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really miss that. But I also think it showed us that we do need to chunk out time for that sometimes.
Yeah.
And like, that's why I'm not going to get emo, but that's why I'm really going to miss living with you too. Listener, I'm moving out of the apartment. Listener.
Well, because she's getting married
in January. Yes.
She's going on tour.
She's my
getting
beloved.
married.
And then I'm going back on tour. Yes.
And then she's going back on tour.
It's going to be insane. I'm so grateful.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going to miss living with you guys, because we're going to have to be really intentional about seeing each other. But I think having time with you guys on our couch it's like made me time to like have those conversations. And we even had way more of them during COVID.
Yeah.
Cause now we're like in and out of the house all the time, but, our small apartment. Actually, we have a great apartment.
Our two-story.
Shout out to our apartment. Our huge mansion.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just that time was really fruitful for me in a lot of different ways. Changed my life for sure.
Yeah.
In like positive ways.
Yeah.
I don't think that you're alone in that.
Yeah, I think that's I
think it's a very
thing right now.
Universally felt thing. I mean, of course, not for everybody, but
no.
I
don't
think there
miss
is something
the chaos, but
of course, but I think there is something to say for the time, the extra
the
time,
freedom to just be.
Yeah,
that was so nice. It took us all a second though to like slow down.
Yeah.
It took me a while.
because we're so kind of uncomfortable with what we get confronted with when we're like, we have all this time to think.
Yeah, like there's so much. It just makes me think about like dreams, honestly, because I'm like, our subconscious. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about, listener.
Yeah.
It is processing and has so much. We have so much in our minds.
Yeah.
Like, isn't there some statistic about like we're only aware of like 1% of like what's in our brain?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
there's just so much in there, and so much that we're capable of and able to dream up and able to think through, but it's like our outside circumstances that kind of determine how much of that we are able to tap into.
Right.
Which is really fascinating and just makes me want to like continually try to be better about like giving myself that time.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and being able to, along with giving time, it's allowing for, I think when I think about that time during COVID, it was an opportunity that all three of us got to be able to be together and to inspire each other to not only make the time, but make good use of the time. Because I think
There's a lot of scrolling too.
Right, because COVID gave lots of people the opportunity to have time gaps that they had to fill. Now, what they filled it with was something, could be different things. But I think what I love about your story, Evan, the fact that time was so fruitful because it helped. What it sounds like is it helped you recalibrate creatively, spiritually, on like what was most important to you.
Yeah.
And that's carried over into your everyday life. And I know we get a front row seat to it, but which we're very thankful for. No, seriously, like very thankful for. And I love that we have that and we will continue to have that. But
sorry.
No, go.
I just think I feel the same way about y'all. Like I literally, how cool, and that's the cool thing about New York too, that we're living shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah,
all of us.
all the time. Yeah.
And we get to watch and hear, like watching. I've been saying this a lot lately. Like watching God work in other people's lives has been a huge way He's worked in mine lately. By reminding me of things, showing me what He's capable of. Also, like that goes the same way for artistry, like hearing LB, like hearing your show concepts, and like hearing Rachel literally teach children ukulele and like sing in her room, and her original work, y'all. Rachel's original songs are insane.
Yeah.
But like to see like the seeds He's planted in y'all and your creativity makes me, and not like I want to do that too, but in more of like oh, that made me think of this. And that's kind of like growing something over here, or like, let's like work together and like come up with something, and even just blending our voices together. Like there's just so much, to be found in that too. And I'm really grateful that New York like fosters so much of that, even though we're so close together all the time.
Yeah. No, it's so true.
Dirty and muggy.
But it's the best.
But we love it.
We love it.
Yes.
Okay, Evan.
Last question.
Last question
I know we have to go.
is, wait, I always feel like I'm going to say this one wrong, even though I've said it so many times. What book, play, or film do you think every person should read or watch?
This question makes me feel insecure because I don't read books.
It doesn't have to be a book.
Have to be a book.
I know it doesn't, but I don't really watch movies either, or plays.
That is not true.
I do. Sorry, guys. I'm just out here pounding the pavement trying to pay my bills.
You have seen many musicals.
I've seen a lot of musicals.
And the answer can be Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat.
I think everyone should see, honestly, Bright Star.
Yeah.
That freaking show. It's not like the
Agreed.
most perfect book in the world, but it's the music that does it for me. It's just like, other than Wicked, that's the one that like brought me to my knees in tears. It's just redemption. It's a story of redemption, and honestly, they don't talk about God, but I see like it's just such a picture of God's purpose and plan and timing, like working out exactly how it should, even though there's pain and hurt involved. In the end, it's all redeemed. And this is coming to me literally right now. But I think like truly like I wish I had thought about this when I was doing the show, LOL. But no.
These are the thoughts that always come afterward.
Yeah,
Intrusive.
exactly.
Yeah, but wonderful. Yeah. And I'm like, oh dang, it's such a perfect representation of how God moves in our lives. And that's literally what, spoiler alert, that's literally what our pastor is teaching on at our wedding, is how God's faithfulness and purpose in every single thing that happens in our lives, and like how hardship and sorrow and grieving and pain can make way and prepare us for blessing, and how He kind of uses everything in a really roundabout way that we can't understand until after the fact.
Right.
And we're like, oh, I mean, that's Bright Star is just a great example of that. But I also think, oh, sorry, the bug came back. I have a music artist that I wrote down that I think everyone should listen to.
Okay.
Sleeping at Last.
Yeah.
When I read which I do sometimes. When I listen to new music, which I'm a creature of habit, so I like to listen to the same things over and over again.
Oh, yeah.
But when I listen to new music, I'm on the hunt for like a really good lyric. And I think Sleeping at Last, I don't even remember his real name, but he just like understands the human condition in a way I have never heard before in music. And he just has endless albums of material, and his Enneagram album is so good. And that's an album that like struck me in college and like means a lot to me. But yeah, his orchestrations, I mean, it's talk about magical music. Holy cow. His orchestrations and his lyrics are immaculate. So if you're ever having a sad girl day and need to go like cry or just like think about
the deep things of life. Yeah.
He also has a lot of beautiful covers. It's just like a beautiful voice and beautiful orchestrations and just a lot of beauty in his work.
So good.
And then I think everyone should listen to Celine Dion's version of River Deep Mountain High.
Yeah.
That is my new fascination.
Yeah.
Y'all, I heard this song for the first time last week. How have I missed this?
Gentle listener. We took a road trip with a couple of our friends to go see a few of our other friends get married. And on this road trip, Celine Dion's version of River Deep Mountain High was played.
All the love to Tina, but Celine just smacked me in the face with this.
Yeah,
in a good way.
None of us were prepared for it. And now I'm pretty sure it's become like our friendship theme song.
Yeah.
Like
the bongos.
The bongos just hit.
They slap.
They really.
You got to go listen to it. Just give it a listen.
Yeah, it's kind of like you can't not smile.
I'm sure you know it, gentle listener, but if you don't,
go give it a listen.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, here we are talking about this song that's like probably everybody's like, yeah, no duh.
I love you.
Yeah.
Yeah. On that note, when we were listening to it in the car, all of us were like, it doesn't really sound like Celine. It sounds kind of like Cher. And then I was like, no, it sounds like Stephanie J. Block as Cher singing River Deep Mountain High. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Wow.
On that note, listener.
Evan,
gentle listener.
Gentle listener. Evan, where can the gentle listeners find you on the gram?
I was like, my address
socials,
is, no, I'm just kidding.
Or
you can find me at
my address, my social security
this
number.
This is not coming out tomorrow. I was like, you can come to the concert on Tuesday.
No, I know.
Oh, man.
No,
I know,
my
bummer.
Instagram handle is at Ev Bertram. That's EVBERTRAM as in Mary. Ev Bertram.
You have that down pat.
M as in Mary. My side job is answering phones, so I have to spell a lot of things out.
That's so true. That's
one
so
of my
true.
side jobs.
Yeah, one of the many.
Yeah, at F Bertram.
And do you have a website?
Yeah, but I need to update it. But
okay.
But it's https www.evanbertram.com.
She went through the whole
Very
thing.
simple.
Oh, sweet.
Evanbertram.com.
You said that domain was free.
There's some YouTube videos on there. Let me update it first. Oh, I have time.
You do.
Yeah, there's time.
Okay.
Here we go. Now your countdown begins now.
Oh, okay. I'll work on
I
it.
guess gentle listener, go check it out. Go check out our
Right.
website. She updated it. Yeah. That's hilarious.
Oh, thanks, guys.
Evan, thanks for being here. We love you so much.
I just want to say.
Oh no, Tindy.
Oh no, I'm not going to get tendy. I'm just going to be very monotone.
Okay.
You guys, you have a great podcast. I'm really proud of you. And gentle listener, keep listening because good things are happening for these two. And yeah, I'm just proud of you. Well done.
Thanks, Ev.
Shout out to Seated.
We love you.
Seated is growing.
It is.
Seated has been seated.
Seated has been seated.
And now it's going
It's
to
fruitful.
grow. We're watering.
We love a plant metaphor, if you cannot tell.
The fruit of your labors.
Oh, yes.
Prosperous.
Yeah.
Oh,
exactly.
Lord, have mercy.
Anyways,
all right,
love
you
y'all.
guys, thank you so much, Evie. We love you.
Yeah, we really do.
Gentle listeners, I hope that you were inspired to be empathetic, be honest, and to grow in your craft. We hope to see you next time.
Thanks for listening to the For the Makers podcast. To find out more about Seated Productions, you can visit our website at www.seatedproductions.com and follow us on Instagram at seated.productions. And if you love what we do and want to support us, you can make a tax-deductible donation by visiting our website or by following the link in our podcast description. Until next time, listen well and tell stories.